Welcome back, everyone. This is Thomas Triple T Tie with another new bullish crypto analysis. Before we dig in, remember at any time during the video, when you find value, feel free to smash the like, ring my bell, hit subscribe, or leave your thoughts in the comments section. Let's dig in and take a look at Bitcoin on the daily chart. This is Bitcoin on the daily chart, like I mentioned. On TradingView. Pretty exciting day today. Actually, it's a different day now because I'm still in on Monday because I'm in Pacific Standard Time, but a new day has popped up in other time zones. So I'll cover both. Last night I tweeted about 6 consecutive hourly candles that seemed curiously bullish. And then the U.S. stock market opened in the morning, and BT shot up like a rocket. It went from it ended up roughly around 44.3, and that's about a 6.8K move from the bottom here up to the top here within a 24-hour period. BTC is currently at roughly about 43.4, I think. Actually, 43.5 now. It's changed a little bit since I typed all this up. And on the Bollinger Band, you can see that it was down near the bottom of the Bollinger Band, but now it's in between the middle band or the basis of the Bollinger Band and the top of the Bollinger Band, right here. But on the weekly chart, it's still within that weekly range. So it's still crabbing sideways on the weekly chart. But here it looks pretty amazing. In my opinion, this move, because of the time of this move, and it happened right around 6:30 Pacific Standard Time, it's more likely that it's a reallocation of funds from the stock market. Investors probably felt that their position was going to drop, and so they reallocated their position over to Bitcoin, and it was a fantastic move. Some people might think, oh, well, what about people in Ukraine or Russia, especially Russia, changing their rubles to BTC? They are doing that, but it would take a significant amount of coordination for all of them to do it at 6:30 in the morning in Pacific Standard Time. So I strongly believe it's a reallocation of funds from equities to Bitcoin, because equities, except for a handful of high-tech stocks, the majority of them were red today. Additionally, I want to cover some of these previous patterns. So before I can remove them, when this candle broke above the horizontal channel, the resistance line here, that it became very bullish, obviously. So I'm going to remove this horizontal channel from the next, after I do this review. And then also the previous descending triangle right here is no longer of use because it broke to the upside above the descending triangle resistance line here too. What it formed now is a symmetrical triangle. You can see the symmetrical triangle resistance line here and the symmetrical triangle support line here. Both come into a point far out here. So some interesting pattern that's also forming is, you can see here when Bitcoin dropped here, this was back in on the week of the 20s, in January. Bitcoin dropped down. It dropped down to roughly around 33.8 or so here. And then it went up, and then it went up again. And then when it gets into the 40s here, it bounced off, but ultimately it comes back down. It came back down, and here you can see that it put in a higher low, and then it crapped sideways on the daily chart for a bit. And this was when Russia did a full invasion on Ukraine. And it had this big wick down here. I'm just going to take off the wick so when I form this higher lows here, because these wicks are a bit extraordinary. but we can count them too. Still put in higher lows if you count this one and this one. But overall, what it's doing is like it goes up into the 40s, low 40s, and then drops back down into the 30s. But when it does that, it puts in a higher low. And so what I'm thinking is that it went ballistic here, all the way up here, back into the 40s, low 40s, and then I predict it's going to do the same move again. It's going to drop back down and test somewhere in this area. And this could be roughly around 37, 36, 37. So that's what I think is going to happen. It did that several times already. And then when it bounced up, it puts in a lower high. You see that? Here, and then here, and it might do the same thing as it trends down. And then it might just bounce in here and see what happens. That's one scenario. Another scenario is that it could break above this symmetrical triangle resistance line and go bullish. But given the macro environment right now where things are very volatile, that may not happen because it's this resistance right here, roughly up at this point here. I put in a red resistance line here. I'm thinking that's the new resistance at around 44K. And previously it went above it and dropped back down. Here it touched it, went back down. So that's a key resistance level there. So that's what the symmetric triangle pattern is doing. And then the new support level, I'm thinking it might, in the short term, retest this support here at roughly 42K. Retest here, 42K, and then probably retest 40K, and then probably drop back down here. That's what I'm thinking. How long does that take? I have no idea. It took it took several days here to retest. 1, 2, 3, 4 days here. Retest, bounce back up, and then bounce back down in about a span of a week here. So we'll see what happens. Down in the signals here, or indicators, the white J line of the KDJ indicator trended up sharply. You see that right there? It trended up sharply. It was going sideways for a little bit, and then trended up sharply from the previous reported 76.2 to an unusual high of 107. And the last time I hit 107 was back here. And so that's probably its limit there. I'm not seeing that it can go higher, but it could. But on average, it's not gonna go much higher than that. And that's far over the 80 marker for overbought. 80 is right here. It's up here. And so what I'm thinking is so that's a very bullish. So no doubt about that. But on average, what it tends to do is it curves on the top and then goes back down. I'll show you that here. So here, you probably can't see that, but let's go to here. Here, you can see it went up towards 107 or so here. This is actually 102. I think 107 is back there somewhere. 102 here, and then guess what? It consolidated and then drops back down. You see that? Let's go up to here. This one is not even, this one's roughly 86. Yeah, this one's 86, and then went back down. This one right here is roughly, this is a 107 right here. So went up to 107, and guess what it did next? Drop back down. So what I'm thinking is it's going to drop back down. How far is it going to drop back down? I think at minimum, like I said before, it's going to be around roughly 42 here. It's going to retest 42 support here. That's what it did back here. So yeah, this indicator, bullish, it's going to crab a little bit, crab sideways a little bit, and then probably bounce down. And that's why I gave it a bull, a crab, and a bear. On the MACD, that quick move to the top flipped MACD from bearish to bullish. And you can see here this last histogram bar, it was like deep red, and it didn't even get a chance to flip light red, and it just straight went to white, completely white. And it went from the white MACD line went from negative 743 to negative 141, and it's currently above the red signal line too. And so I give that a bull here. Let's move down to RSI. RSI trended up sharply. You can see that right here. It went sharply from 46.3 to 59.2, and then it just like went flat. It didn't even round off or anything. It just went up flat. And it did that for all of these indicators. CVD trended up from 1.81 million to 1.8125 million. That's the aqua line right here. Not a big move, but a slight move. And they level off just like RSI. Just went boop, flat. The MOM indicator, which is the white line here, went up sharply a lot. It went up from negative 4,521 to 3,000. That's a positive 3,338. And then it went sideways, like little flip sideways. So yeah, if you look back here, you don't see any of that, like all the way back to November. You hardly ever see a pattern like that. Actually, none. You don't see a pattern where it went straight, like really steep angle up, ascended, and then flattened out right away. It's very unusual. So that's why I don't think this move is sustainable. And I think it's going to retest down. So let's take a look at the heat map and see what we have. So here's where Bitcoin is right now. You can see the move up here. Here's I'll show you the size of some of these bubbles. Here's 330 BTC. This one's 279. So you're looking at roughly like 300 something to 500 something. That's 520. And here's another one, 667. You get some giant ones, 525. So this move up here, yeah, at that level, that's not even like organic retail type stuff. That's smart money, and the way it moves, right there, definitely, I think reallocation of funds, in my opinion. And who would have that kind of money? Smart money. All right. So what do we have here? We got a little bit of pressure on the top, and we'll zoom in a little bit so you can see. But I want you to see the buy levels here. So 45K, we have a sell wall here, and that's the only sell wall that's of any significant size. But down below, from where we are 43.4 right now, all the way down, we don't have much of a buy wall here. But when you drop back to the previous low level here, starting around 37.5 or so, all the way down to 33.5, we have a lot of liquidity down here. We have a lot of people wanting to buy. That's a lot. Look at this thick orange band here. And then down below that, we have 32K. That's a size of 585. And then we have the 30K wall that's been here forever. That's roughly 630 in size there. So a lot of liquidity down here, a lot of people wanting to buy down here. And so, and they're still here. So you can see that when it moved up, you can see these buy walls came in right there. And they've just been sitting there. And this buy wall came in roughly around around 4 p.m., 3 p.m., roughly around 3 p.m., I think. Actually 1 p.m. 1 p.m. for this orange wall here, and these came in roughly around, that's the 27th. This one came in at around 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on the 28th. So, and yeah, that's right around when it went up. So that, I hope that helps you get an idea where the walls are, so you can put in layer in some of your buy orders. Let's go in a little bit and look at what's happening in here. Zoom in. You can see there's we have pressure from the top, pressure from the bottom, and you can see there's a lot of spoof walls here, right there, move in and out. This wall right here was not a spoof wall. You can see it was there. The sell order, price went up. The sell wall absorbed that, and price broke right through it. That's pretty cool. So that's a zoom in view. That's pressure from top, pressure from the bottom. And so in summary, what I think is going to happen again is basically Bitcoin is going to consolidate here for, it could be a couple of days. It's going to crab sideways, a day to, a handful of days, like it previously did here. And then eventually it'll drop and retest down into the 42K area. And the resistance here is around 44K. And so, yeah, it'll retest there and then we'll see what happens. It could potentially break back down below here because it's been there for quite some time. But first, it needs to figure itself out here. And we got some indicators down here indicating both bullish and potentially bearish signs, because especially KDJ, it's at such a upper range that it's going to round off and go down. So overall, I gave the daily chart crab, and a bear. I think it's going to crab sideways, then drop to retest. And another reason why I think that is on a chart that I don't have here, and I'll cover in the derivatives analysis. And that's because we have roughly, I think it was almost $10 billion in high leverage positions for longs. That's the difference between long high liquidation levels versus shorts. And so the money is for Bitcoin to move down if smart money was to take an opposing direction. But currently it's just been crabbing for hours up here. That's it. I appreciate your time. It's late, and if you found value and you haven't done it, feel free to smash the like, ring my bell, hit subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comment section. I appreciate it. Talk to you tomorrow. Peace.